Hello everyone, I'm Mini Assassin, and Pokemon Fire Red with only status moves was a fun challenge. Today, I'll be beating Pokemon Platinum without dealing damage. On top of not being able to use physical or special moves, I'll be using some additional rules to make the run even harder. You can find those in the description below. As with any Pokemon game, the first thing we do is pick our starter, and at first, the choice seems obvious. Turtwig has more useful status moves than the other starters, but I've actually done this challenge already, with the Turtwig. From that run, I noticed a few things that would have been significantly easier with a Piplup, the first of which is the first battle against our rival, Bill. If you pick Turtwig, he picks Chimchar, who knows Leer, which lowers the opponent's defense. When I would use Withdraw with Turtwig, it would actually encourage Chimchar to use Leer, and more often than not, Withdraw would run out of power points and I would lose. So for this run through, I don't bother with Turtwig and just pick Piplup, who I named Stan. Stan won't be able to win this run alone though, so I catch a Shinx named Mabel, a Starly named Dipper, and a Bidoof named Seuss. With this team, we can slowly get wild Pokemon to knock themselves out with Struggle, which is a move that all Pokemon use when they run out of power points for all of their moves. Here in Generation 4, as well as every game afterwards, Struggle deals recoil damage equal to 1/4 the health of the Pokemon that used it. As soon as possible, I get both Mabel and Seuss to level 5 so they learn Leer and Growl respectively, and finally have a valid move they can use. I don't stop there though. Our first roadblock is youngster Tristan and his level 5 Starly. I can take out Wild Starly no problem, but since his is level 5, it knows Quick Attack. This means that he has 65 total power points for attacking instead of just 35. I get Seuss to level 9 so he learns Defense Curl. Seuss has the ability Simple, which doubles all stat changes he gets, whether positive like from Defense Curl or negative like from Growl. By leading with Defense Curl instead of Growl, we can cause Tristan Starly to deal 1 damage to Seuss much sooner, barring a critical hit of course. I give it a shot, but he just has so many chances to crit that he's bound to get a few, so I resort to training. After some more levels, we managed to barely squeak out a win. An extra crit or two and we would have had to try again. The other trainers on Route 202 are nothing special. Natalie's Bidoof has Tackle and Growl, and Logan's Burmy only has Tackle. North of Jubilife City on Route 204, I catch a Badoo named Pacifica. Then start the long journey of walking 35,000 steps to raise her friendship, so that we can evolve her into a Roselia. Pacifica has the Poison Point ability, which has a 30% chance to poison any attacker that makes contact. We can use this to great effect in the fight with Bill on Route 205. After lowering his attack with Growl, we can switch in Pacifica and wait until they poison themselves and we win the battle. Victory against Bill lets us move on to Orberg City, where Dipper evolves into a Staravia. Rourke is the gym leader here, and his rock types are tough. Neither Geodude nor Onix can activate Poison Points, so we have to deplete their power points and force them to use Struggle. Try as I might though, I can't get past Cranidos, since he hits so hard for this early in the game. I head to Orberg Mine to catch a Geodude named Grenda. Leveling Grenda up is a bit tricky, since everyone else is already at the level cap. But if we can let Pacifica go down after Poison Point activates, Grenda can get all the experience and not have to share. Once Grenda hits level 14, we can take on Rourke again. Geodude and Onix are still no issue, but because of an unlucky flinch against Cranidos, Seuss is only able to get 5 Growls off. When Pacifica comes out, Poison Point activates on the first attack, and he goes down relatively safely since he can't do much to Grenda, so Rourke gives us the Coal Badge. Heading back to Jubilife City, we have a double battle against Team Galactic with Dawn. It's a breeze, especially since Pacifica learned Leech Seed. Once we get to Floroma Town, we find that Team Galactic has occupied the local power plant known as the Valley Windworks. So we beat up a few grunts and Mabel evolves. Commander Mars isn't much more difficult, since now we have semi-reliable recovery and all attacks against us are still physical at this point. In Eterna Forest, Seuss and Stan both evolve, and we can catch a new team member, a Ghastly named Gideon. Once we get to Eterna City, we can grab one of the most important key items in this game, the Explorer Kit. The Explorer Kit lets you farm certain items in Sinnoh's Underground that you can then either use or sell. With infinite sellable items, we can get infinite money without ever battling anyone. In the interest of not spending days doing this, I opt to hack the items in. I'll only be doing this for items I can legitimately obtain at any point in the game, including berries. If you think this is cheating, feel free to yell at me in the comments. Moving on, Gardenia isn't too difficult. We can use Growl to lower Razorleaf's damage. This baits her into using Grass Knot, a special move that makes contact, so we can switch in Pacifica to activate Poison Point. Cherrim and Roserade both get put to sleep, then cursed, so they go down quickly and we get the Forest Badge. Our new badge lets us use Cut outside of battle, which means we can access the Eterna City Galactic building. There we can battle Commander Jupiter, who has some guy's Pokemon held hostage. Her Zubat goes down to Curse and her Skuntank goes down to Leech Seed, but not before taking out the majority of the team. In Hearthome City, Gideon evolves into Haunter and we can take on Fantina. Leading Gideon, I curse the Duskull, who manages to take out Seuss. Mismagius gets baited out thanks to knowing Magic Leaf, which is strong against Seuss's water typing. She takes out Pacifica with a Shadow Ball before falling. Haunter finishes off a weakened stand before getting cursed, then walled by Dipper, winning us the Relic Badge. On our way out of the city, Bill ambushes us. Staravia likes to set up double teams, so I have Gideon cursed to shut him down. Weasel and Ponyta both go down to Leech Seed, and Groudle falls to Curse, winning us the battle. The journey to Veilstone is unexciting, but getting there lets us challenge Maylene. Leech Seed and Poison Point take care of Meditite without issue. Pacifica's new Toxic Spikes badly poison Machoke, so he goes down quick. Lucario's Steel typing makes him immune to poison, so we have to curse him in order to take him down and win the Cobble Badge. After some Team Galactic filler and grabbing the HM for Fly, we can head to Pastoria City to take on Crasher Wake. Before we can get inside the gym though, Bill stops us for another battle. His strategy hasn't changed, so the fight is as simple as last time. While his team is being annihilated, now's a good time to mention another reason why I picked Piplup. If you don't pick Piplup, your rival's grass type is the Roserade line. Since they're part poison type, not only are they immune to being poisoned, but they also absorb Toxic Spikes when they're switched in, rendering our strategy much less effective. Up next is the Water Gym leader, Crasher Wake. Stan goes down after lowering Gyarados' attack, then Pacifica sets up Leech Seed and Toxic Spikes before stalling until he faints. Floatzel gets badly poisoned, then immediately takes out Pacifica with a Crunch before getting walled by Seuss. Quagsire KOs Seuss and Dipper, but Gideon is able to avoid damage long enough by confusing him, so Wake gives us the Fen Badge. After evolving Mabel and Stan, we can get to Celestic Town, where Cyrus battles us. With the help of his new Steel typing, Stan is able to shrug off Sneasel's hits and minimize his attack. Then Pacifica comes in to set up Leech Seed while Poison Point activates. After Sneasel falls, I have Seuss put Golbat to sleep, then set up another Leech Seed with Pacifica. Golbat takes out Seuss, but then gets taken out by Leech Seed. After minimizing Murkrow's attack, we can have Gideon use Curse, and the battle is won. As thanks, the Elder of Celestic Town gives us the HM for Surf, which I teach to Seuss. Then go to Canalive City. On the way there though, Dipper evolves into Staraptor and we can fight Bill again. His Staraptor is first, and once we lower his attack, Gideon can come into Curse, dooming him. After Seuss sacrifices himself to put Rapidash to sleep, Pacifica can use Leech Seed and Toxic Spikes, then paralyze Rapidash once he wakes up. With Toxic Spikes set up, the rest of Bill's team doesn't last very long. Since my team is falling behind on levels, I train in Iron Island, since Riley is there and will heal everyone after every battle. While we're there, I also pick up a Shiny Stone to evolve Pacifica into Roserade, then take on Byron. Pacifica immediately cedes his Magneton as he goes for Metal Sound. I switch to Stan to shake off the special defense drop. When I try to switch again, Magneton's Magnet Pull ability prevents it, so Stan goes down to a Thunderbolt. Regardless, Magneton goes down without doing much more damage. Steelix takes out Mabel with an Earthquake, then Pacifica with an Ice Fang before falling. Bastiodon gets cursed, and we all know how that turns out, so Byron gives us the Mind Badge. After beating Byron, Team Galactic explodes a bomb, so now we have to go investigate. Saturn, the commander who raided Lake Valor, isn't much trouble. Leech Seeds from Pacifica take out his entire team. At Lake Verity, Mars is in charge. We've beaten her before, and she really isn't that much of a challenge the second time. The final lake is Lake Acuity, which is next to Snow Point City, but we need the 7th gym badge in order to use Rock Climb to get there. Speaking of which, it's time to take on Candace. Much like with Cyrus, we can lower Sneasel's attack, allowing Pacifica to come in and use Leech Seed and Toxic Spikes. I plan to use Grass Whistle, but Poison Point activates. Sneasel can't take out Pacifica before falling though, so it doesn't matter. Piloswine takes out Pacifica, and Abomasnow takes out Mabel and Gideon, but otherwise, we win the battle, and Candace gives us the Icicle Badge. Once we get to Lake Acuity, we find that Bill lost to Jupiter, who goes to the Galactic HQ in Veilstone, so I follow her. And after obtaining the key to the storage units, we can pick up the key to the main building. We can sneakily maneuver our way through the building until coming across Cyrus giving a speech to a bunch of grunts, afterwards challenging us to a battle. Seuss puts Sneasel to sleep with Yawn, allowing Pacifica to do what she does best, Leech Seed. I don't set up Toxic Spikes since Cyrus's other Pokemon aren't affected by them. Crobat follows the same strategy as Sneasel, Yawn with Seuss and Leech Seed with Pacifica. Honchkrow has the Insomnia ability though, so he can't be put to sleep. I confuse him with Mabel, but he never hits himself and gains an attack boost out of it, then takes out Mabel and Pacifica before she can land a Toxic. Gideon can outspeed and curse though, so Stan can wall him until we win the battle. Immediately after Cyrus, we take on Commander Saturn again, but he's still a pushover, so we can head up to the top of Mount Coronet. Along the way, a Team Galactic member puts us in a bit of a bind by using Mean Look followed by Taunt. If I try to switch, the game won't let me, and if I try to use a move, Pacifica will use Struggle, breaking our rules. It doesn't really matter since it's just a one-off trainer, but still not ideal. I end up just chucking Pokéballs until he faints from toxic damage. Thankfully, this is the only trainer in the game that can do this, but it might come up in future games. Anyway, while climbing the mountain, I catch a Clefairy named Waddles, then use a Moonstone to evolve him. At Spear Pillar, we face off in a double battle with Bill against Commanders Mars and Jupiter. Pacifica sets up the obligatory Leech Seeds, including on Bill's Munchlax since he doesn't do very much and his high health allows Leech Seed to heal for more. Jupiter's Bronzor goes down and her Golbat takes out Munchlax, so Bill sends in Staraptor. Staraptor takes out Mars's Bronzor and Purugly before going down, and Rapidash KOs Jupiter's Golbat. Jupiter's Skunktank and Mars's Golbat get cleaned up by Bill's Torterra, winning us the fight. After a cutscene about Cyrus trying to create a new world or something like that, Giratina holds him hostage in the Distortion world and we have to rescue him. He doesn't want our help though and attacks us once we find him. Bringing out Waddles for his debut battle, I start setting up Cosmic Powers, raising both of his defenses. When Houndoom goes for Will-O-Wisp, we can heal, then use Lucky Chant to prevent any critical hits, which would bypass Cosmic Powers boosts. When he's finished setting up Cosmic Powers, Waddles uses Toxic, then waits. This strategy takes out Houndoom, Gyarados, and Honchkrow, but Weavile takes Waddles out since he ran out of Moonlight power points. He still manages to land a Toxic though, dooming Weavile, while Gideon curses Crobat to secure the final victory against Cyrus. Next up is Volkner, the gym leader of Sunnyshore City and user of Electric-type Pokemon. Due to paralysis, Jolteon is able to take out Pacifica before she can heal with Synthesis, then set up with some lucky Charge Beams. Thankfully, Seuss can put him to sleep before going down. With Jolteon asleep, it would be an easy setup with Waddles, if he didn't wake up after only a single turn. Luckily, Waddles can hang on until Jolteon faints, then stall out Raichu. Electivire manages to sneak in a crit between Lucky Chants, so Waddles goes down, along with Stan before Electivire gets done in. Gideon does the usual self-sacrifice to curse Luxray, so Dipper can just barely survive, winning us the Beacon Badge. Once we get through Victory Road without any issues, Bill challenges us right before we're able to take on the Elite Four. His least threatening team member is Snorlax, so I have Dipper use Whirlwind until he gets dragged out. I stall him out of Body Slam power points while also lowering his attack with Intimidate. Without the threat of paralysis, Pacifica can come in and set up Leech Seed and Toxic Spikes. Once Snorlax gets low enough, he uses Rest, and Gideon can then use Spite to make sure he can't heal anymore. I send Waddles in to stall everyone on Bill's team down to nothing, even if he does go down against Torterra. With Bill defeated for the last time, we can do a little more training, getting our team to the final level cap of 59, which matches Lucian's Gallade. Before we get to the Elite Four though, I'm legally obligated by YouTube to ask you to subscribe. It means a lot, and if you're this far into the video, you must at least mildly enjoy my content. Shameless promotion aside, Aaron is ironically the hardest fight here, since he has the most Pokemon immune to being poisoned. To deal with this, the first thing I do is have Stan set Stealth Rocks, since half his team takes significant damage from it. I switch to Dipper and use Whirlwind to drag Scizor out, then lower his attack before Pacifica can come in to use Leech Seed. Despite it only working on Heracross, I use Toxic Spikes anyway, since it's not like there's much else Pacifica can do. When Scizor goes down, Yanmega comes out, and takes a whopping half his health and damage from Stealth Rock. I try to switch to Dipper and use Whirlwind so he can take the damage again, but Yanmega gets a crit and takes Dipper out. And then the idiot uses U-turn, switching out, which not only badly poisons Heracross, but it means Yanmega is effectively out of the fight. Heracross himself is walled by Gideon and Stan, so down he goes and Drapion comes out. He takes out Gideon, but not before getting cursed and going down. Last is Vespiquen, and much like Yanmega, she also takes half her health and damage when she switches in. Unlike Yanmega though, she can heal up any damage we deal with Heal Order. Toxic's ramping damage takes her out though, so we can move on to Bertha. Her Whiscash is weak enough that Waddles can set up on her, then take out the majority of her team. Rhyperior takes him down since he ran out of Moonlight power points, but poison damage takes her out, winning us the battle. Flint is the same story, set up with Waddles and Toxic Stall, this time for a clean one-man sweep. Lucian throws a little wrench in our plans with his Bronzong, but Waddles can take out everyone else as usual. Pacifica can handle Bronzong with Leech Seed, getting us to the final fight of the game. Cynthia's entire team also falls to the might of Waddles, other than Lucario and Roserade since they can't be poisoned. Lucario gets seeded, then walled by a combined effort from Stan, Gideon, and Dipper. I let Waddles go down against Roserade so that Gideon doesn't take a free hit when he comes in and uses Curse, winning us the run. As fun as this run was, playing nothing but Pokemon without attacking for half a year straight is honestly draining. I think the next video will be Fire Red without Pokécenters, just for a change of pace. As always, if you liked the video, drop a like and subscribe for more wacky Pokemon challenges like this.